Hi everyone, and welcome back to Mary's Nest. And today I'm going to share with you some news from my nest. Well, I'm right in the middle of making some elderberry syrup over here to have this all ready for cold and flu season, and I'm just letting it simmer for about an hour. I'm actually filming the whole process of making it, but while that's simmering for an hour, I thought I'd take a minute and just share with you a little bit about this and why I make it, and then a few other things as well. First of all, in the video that I share, I talk about how I use the dried elderberries and some other things that I throw in with that. And the reason that I do this is making homemade elderberry syrup is so much less expensive than if you buy that bottle that you sometimes might see at your health food section in the grocery store or even at Whole Foods. And it can run $20 or more. But if you have the dried elderberries, and you can buy them or you can forage for them, I'll talk about that in a minute, and you just add some water, let it simmer for about an hour, and strain it, add a little honey, put it in your refrigerator, and you're all set, and it's going to cost you a lot less to make. Now, talking about foraging, depending on where you live in the United States, and I'm not sure about other countries, I think Germany has a lot of elderberry bushes also, but in the United States, sort of along the eastern seaboard and then coming down through to Texas, we have a lot of elderberry plants. They tend to grow along streams and areas like that. They like damp, moist soil. So contact your extension service and find out if elderberries grow wild in your area, and then find out if there are any areas where public foraging is allowed. And you might be able to forage for your own berries and then dry them out. And also, the elderberry bush has I think it's just called the elderflower. It looks like a little white flower, and people also use those for medicinal purposes and to make cordials and all sorts of things. So it's a very interesting plant and one that's very useful. You may even try growing some in your area. I was thinking, I have a little pond out front off my kitchen, and I've often thought about trying to experiment and see if I could get an elderberry bush to grow over there, since it's kind of moist, damp soil. So I don't know, we'll see. I'll keep you posted on that. But in any event, I'll definitely have the video coming out on exactly how I make it and walk you step by step through on that. So you can make that now to prepare for cold and flu season as we go into the fall and the winter. Well, in any event, I want to do some shout outs because I want to thank Mandy over at More to Life, and I'll put an iCard that I'll link to her channel, because she was very kind to mention my channel the other day, and that was very sweet of her. And I want you to go and visit her channel because she is a wonderful resource if you're interested in canning, and she has a lot of videos on pressure canning, which is becoming a more popular topic, and people are really interested in learning about it. So definitely check that out. She's also very knowledgeable about stocking the pantry and preparedness and things like that. So I think you'll really enjoy her channel. Now, a few other people that I want to mention, someone I've mentioned before in some of my videos, who you're probably familiar with when it comes to making homemade vinegar, is Heidi over at Rain Country Homestead. And she is another wonderful source if you're interested in homesteading, especially small homesteading, because her and her husband don't have a large piece of property, but boy, they make the most of every inch of it. They've got chickens, they've got fruit trees, they've got all kinds of herbs and vegetables and whatnot, and fruits, I mean, just everything that they grow on their property. And she is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to herbs and making home remedies and doing various things like that and making the homemade vinegar. So be sure to check out her channel, and I'll put an iCard that'll link to that. Now, I'm going to mention a number of people, and I believe I only get 5 iCards, so what I'm not able to put in iCards, I'll put down in the description below, and I'll just put it nice big heading related videos, so you can find it easily if you just click on that under the video where it says show more, and I'll list the rest of the people there. But the third person I want to mention is Denise, and she has a channel called This and That with Denise. Denise is the consummate homemaker. If you are interested in homemaking things, she is just going to be the go-to channel. She talks all things. She talks about cooking, doing the wash, cleaning, just everything. But something that's very unique about her that you might enjoy, if this is the type of thing you enjoy, is that she makes these little vignettes, and that's what she calls them. And it's usually like a tray where she places things very nicely, and they're very seasonal and appropriate to home life. And she'll put them on her kitchen island or different places in her home, sometimes the front porch and so on and so forth. And she does a lot of collaborations with other people. So if that's something you like doing and that you're interested in doing it, be sure to watch her channel and see when she announces her different collaborations. But she's a lot of fun. And then I will link to her channel. And then the next person I want to mention is Vicki over at Vickie's Country Homestead. Now, if you're interested at all in homesteading, you've got to go see Vickie's channel. Vicki lives off-grid with her husband and their daughter in Nevada. And they have a big homestead, and she's got a garden and all kinds of things. And as I said, it's off-grid, which is very interesting when she talks about living like that. And she does a lot of canning and a lot of cooking, wonderful recipes. And what's extra special about her, she has a two-part series on her videos where she shows how to make a sourdough starter, starting right at the beginning with no help from any of the little starters you could buy through the mail or anything like that, right from the beginning with water and some all-purpose flour. And she takes you through the whole kit and caboodle, so to speak, till she finally gets a starter. And it's fascinating and definitely worth watching, you know, especially if you're interested in making your own homemade starter. And then the next person I want to mention is a very sweet friend of mine named Tressa. And Tressa lives in Louisiana. She's a consummate baker. She is just such a terrific baker. Plus, being that she's in Louisiana, she does occasionally some fun Cajun cooking. So that's a nice source for recipes if you're interested in Cajun cooking, and everything looks delicious. And she also does some recipes where she uses the Instant Pot, the pressure cooker. Part of it, you know, I guess does a lot of things. And that's interesting to me because I don't have an Instant Pot, but I did jump on this pressure cooker bandwagon and I bought a Mealthy. It's a little less expensive and it comes with a few little extra things. So I decided to buy that because if it's not something I wind up using a lot, then I won't feel too bad about it. But be sure to check out her Instant Pot recipes and her baking and her Cajun cooking. And she's just real nice, and her daughter helps her film, and they're just so cute together. So I'll link to that. And then the other one that I wanted to mention is actually a lady named Lori, Mrs. Lori she goes by, and her channel is named Whippoorwill Holler. Oh, and I forgot to mention Tressa's channel, but I'll link to it, is named Tressa's Stay-at-Home Life. And then Lori's channel is named, or Mrs. Lori, it's cute, is Whippoorwill Holler, and I'll link to that. And she's actually, I met her through Vicki, and I actually, speaking of Vicki, I had the pleasure of meeting Vicki in person when she was visiting family here in Texas, because I live in Central Texas, and so does some of her family. So that was fun. She's a real doll, just as nice in person as she is on her videos. But getting back to Lori, she also is a homesteader, and she has a beautiful little country home and a beautiful garden, and she'll give tours of her garden. Her garden is magnificent, and I believe she's up in Arkansas, and she just has wonderful recipes, real home cooking, and definitely worth checking out. And her latest video is making fudge. I mean, it looks so tempting. So I'll definitely link to that. So that's that for the shout outs that I'm doing today. I don't want to go on too long. Those of you who know me know I'm a little long-winded. But definitely I'll link to those, and the ones that I can't put in iCards, I'll definitely link below in the description, and I'll put, you know, a title-related video, so that'll be easy for you to find and click on and visit their websites. So yeah, just to review a big thank you to Mandy. She was just very kind to mention my channel. I'm just a little channel, and hoping one day, what is it like that little, in the little kids book, The Engine, you know, I think I can, I think I can. You know, I've only got about 300 subscribers, but I really appreciate all of you, and I want to thank all of you, you know, who subscribe to my channel and watch my channel. And as I've shared in the past, I have a series on mastering the basics of traditional foods cooking. If you're interested in those things, it's all about, and I put it in a playlist, it's all about how to make bone broths, cultured dairy, ferments, sprout grains, make sprouted flour, how to make sourdough starter, how to make sourdough bread, and all of that. So I hope you'll check that out. But thank you very much for subscribing, and I hope that you will share, if you like my channel, I hope that, and hopefully if you're subscribed you do, that you'll share it with your friends and other people that, you know, you think might be interested in learning about the things that I share. Now that I've finished that Mastering the Basics series, I'm going to be branching out now and showing recipes how to use those traditional foods that we learned how to make in that series, and I'll be incorporating those into recipes. And I'll also be sharing, like I'm doing today, making the elderberry syrup video, sharing natural remedies and cooking, you know, and then also cooking from scratch. And also when I'm out and about, I live in the Texas Hill Country and it's very pretty here. And my husband and I enjoy, when we get a chance, going thrifting, or as I used to call, junking. You know, there were a lot of little cute junk shops around the hill country. Now it's become a little more popular and they're becoming a little hoity-toity. So now it's thrifting. So we'll be sure to take you on some of those thrifting adventures through the hill country. It'll be fun. Well, before I go, I just want to mention one more thing about this cookbook. As I mentioned, we live in the hill country between Austin and San Antonio, but we're closer to Austin. And it's nice. We live in the Highland Lakes region, which I'll definitely take some video and pictures and share those with you in the future. But Austin has a lot of good used bookstores. And I actually found this book. It's a beautiful book at a used bookstore. And it's Sara Moulton's Home Cooking 101. And even though it's you know, beginner's cookbook, and I'm in my 60s, I've been cooking a long time, but sometimes even as, you know, experienced home cooks, we kind of forget little tips and tricks and whatnot. And what attracted me to this book was, it says how to make everything taste better. And she really does have a lot of interesting ideas for, you know, jazzing up the flavor of things, so to speak. And I don't know if those of you might already know her or remember her. I remember watching her years ago, back when Food Network first started, and when it was just like cooking shows. And she had a cooking show, and I always enjoyed it, watching it in the evening when I'd be making dinner and waiting for my husband to get home from work. And she was the, I guess, the head chef, the editor for Gourmet Magazine before that ended. But she's got numerous cookbooks, and I believe this is her latest one. But one recipe in particular that really attracted me, and I have my bookmark with my little, this is actually from Christmas wrapping paper, my cardinals, that I thought was interesting, and I wanted to share for anybody that might be a vegetarian. And I'm going to make this. I'm going to make it for dinner, and I'm going to tonight, and I'll go ahead and film it and put it up once I get a chance to edit it and whatnot. But it's called Indian Cauliflower Stew. And what I thought was so interesting about this, it has not only cauliflower in it, it has potatoes and chickpeas. And you roast the chickpeas in the oven. I mean, it just sounded so flavorful. And it's completely vegetarian. Now, because it calls for vegetable stock, I'm actually going to use chicken bone broth. I'm not a vegetarian, and that's what I have. But if you use the vegetable broth, it'll be a completely vegetarian dish. And so I'll film this, and we'll see how it is. We'll taste it at the end and see how it is. But in any event, I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. I'm going to be making that and filming it. And, you know, if you get a chance, keep your eyes open for this. You might see it at your local library or local bookstore or something, or of course on Amazon. Everything's on Amazon today. But it's great for if you're new to cooking and you're a beginning cook, or even if you're an experienced cook. She really reminds you about a lot of things that maybe, not so much that you forget, but maybe it's just in the back of your memory, or you haven't been cooking in a while. And so I'm looking forward to making a lot of recipes in here. Well, in any event, that's that for today, but I want to thank you very much for joining me. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you like what you see, I hope you'll give me a thumbs up. And be sure to subscribe to my channel and click on the notification bell that'll let you know each time I upload a new video. Well, again, that's all for today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to having you join me again right here in my Texas Hill Country kitchen. Love and God bless.